Hey, welcome to flipping $400 into a Ferrari. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels, and this is our most recent flipping $400 into a Ferrari car. Actually, it's not. We've had two since this car that I haven't even made videos for because I've been insanely busy. Today's video, I did not sell this car on bringatrailer.com, even though it was approved for it and we waited for them to air it. Why? We're gonna go over that in today's video. What were the other cars that we sold in our Ferrari flip series? We're gonna go over that in today's video. Where are we at? Because we are more than enough in Ferrari money territory. It's insane what we're at right now. And why has it been delayed for so long? So many questions will be answered in today's video. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Let's get going. This right here is a 1986 Alfa Romeo Quadrifoglio Spider Veloce. A lot of Italian words. What does that mean? Alfa Romeo is the product. Spider, it's a convertible. Quadrifoglio, four-leaf clover. Veloce is their like premium version with the spoiler, with the side skirts, with the better wheels, with the fuel injection, styled by Pininfarina. This car, meh. It's all right. I don't know. It was fun while it lasted, but let's move on. So I bought this car at an auction over a month ago. We tore the whole thing down to the floors. The trunk, we stripped it down to the floors. The interior, gutted completely, stripped down to the floors. We went through this entire car. We found some really cool things about this car. And then we got in touch with Bring a Trailer because I want to try my hand at Bring a Trailer and see what we could do with this car. Well, it's been over a month and I'm gonna go through the details shortly. I just want to show you this car really, really quick. Now I'm gonna go through the numbers in a little while as well, but we paid somewhere in the area of $4,000 for this car. We did do a lot of work to it, but I can tell you the leaves were not on the ground when we started this project. You can see how clean the interior is. The leather had been reupholstered before we purchased it. The dash is not cracked except for that spot right up there. It does have power windows. It does have air conditioning. It does have a 90s aftermarket stereo. But one of the coolest things about this car that I didn't even know until just recently is in the trunk. Now we knew it came with all these gaskets and extra carpeting and floor mat, steering wheel, and it came with the shop manual. But once we dug through all this stuff, we found something even cooler. Now it still has the original Alfa Romeo toolkit in here, which is really, really neat. But even better than that is this right here. This is service records going all the way back to 1994. I'm talking like stacks and stacks of service records, which was so neat to find, to see that somebody's gone through this car and kept these records. It gets even cooler than that. My shop, Flying Wheels, is in Danville, New Hampshire. Little small suburb in New Hampshire, small town, nice and quiet, beautiful fall foliage. Weird. When I pulled the Carfax and found the service records, this car was bought new in '86 and lived in my town, Danville, New Hampshire, from '86 to '94. It then made its way a few towns over where it remained most of its life, and then I bought it and brought it back to Danville, which is what I thought was just like wild. This car was originally from this town. So I reached out on the town Facebook groups to see if anybody had seen this car or knew the previous owner. Couldn't find any history about the previous owner, which I thought would have made this story even better. But still pretty cool that it came from here and now it's back here. Now it is a cool little sports car, and I say little, it is a tiny little sports car. It reminds me of like a Triumph Spitfire or an old MGB. It's a Now what I also found out was this roof alone, just this hardtop, is like $3,500 if somebody wants to buy it, which is really neat. I mean, basically what I paid for the car is what this top is worth. Now I did sell this car and I'd go over all the numbers at the end of this video. Now there is something I really don't like about this car. You'll see I'm wearing work boots. Going into this thing, it is a tiny, tiny little car. Like my boots don't even fit in here. I guess you don't need to be wearing work boots when you're driving a car like this, but hey, I do. So check this out. Like, I'm literally touching the brake when I hit the accelerator. Now when I originally bought it, it did have a little bit of a valve tick that went away just from driving. I think this car hadn't been used much when we bought it, and just from use, a lot of things have kind of worked themselves out. For example, the headlights. I could not, for the life of me, figure out the headlights. Somebody came to look at this car that knows these cars well. It's right here. This is the headlight. You just turn it on. But this car had sat for so long, that didn't turn. Somebody just kept playing with it and playing with it and playing with it, and eventually it turned and the headlights popped on. So that's something I didn't know. Now what I have learned, and I kind of knew already, is Alfa Romeo has a very specific niche market. There is a fan base for these cars, and they are fanatics. They know the ins and the outs, and it kind of takes a fanatic to have a car like this because there are so many little particulars in this vehicle. We took the brake rotors off and we put them on a brake lathe, and they still squeal, but it's hard to find the brake rotors that I need for this car, so I had to order them, and now we're waiting for the brakes to show up, so hopefully we can get rid of that squeal. But as far as driving this car, like, I am not a big person, and I feel like a giant man, almost like Hightower in Police Academy when he drove that little Honda Civic, if anyone's old enough to remember that scene. Now, perfect segue, you'll see that Miata right there. I've had plenty of Mazda Miatas, and those feel bigger than this car. The other thing, driving it, like, I have the hardtop on, and you can kind of hear like the top squeaking around in the back, and I can hear the wind coming through the top where it connects to the windshield. I mean, to me, it's not really that fun to drive. And I guess it's kind of like keep the top down, drive it in the sun type of vehicle, not so much a hardtop little coupe, as they would call it, but like, listen to all these noises. Not to mention the engine's loud and isn't fast. But for a little Italian old sports car, I would have thought it would have been far more reliable than it is. It started every time I've needed it to start. The only problem is we're running out of fuel, so I gotta hope we make it to the gas station before we run out. Now, speaking about fuel, I wanna talk about today's video sponsor, Upside. What is Upside? Really, really cool that I actually use personally. It's a great way to save money and like get cash back. Seriously, it doesn't cost you anything. I use it all the time, and it gives you amazing rewards. Use my Upside app, which my credit card is linked to, which gives me even more cash back. This is actually a screenshot of my Upside app. You can see the gas station up the street. I can save 4 cents per gallon and get $5 bonus. Dunkin's, I save 3%. Speedway, I save 8 cents a gallon and another 5%. This Commodore Grill I go to all the time. 5% cash back. You can get it back through PayPal, you can get it back in a gift card. It's really neat, and it doesn't cost you anything to do. Now, to get started, all you do is download the free Upside app in the App Store or the Google Play Store. Use the promo code WHEELS, which is in the description down below. You get $5 on cash back on your first purchase of $10 more. Upside users are earning more than $1 million every week. And they have a 4.8 star rating on the App Store. Link in the description right down below. It doesn't cost you anything, it's just savings. Definitely go try it out. Upside app, thank you very much. All right, so let's talk about Bring a Trailer for a minute, because I really want to sell something on Bring a Trailer. I want to try it out. I tried with my 98 Ferrari 456M. It didn't work out. I ended up selling it to someone locally. I tried it with this one, it was accepted. I didn't sell it on Bring a Trailer, it sold locally. Let me explain what's happening when I try to sell on Bring a Trailer. So you go to the Bring a Trailer website, you can even use it on your phone. You log in, you click submit your vehicle, submit your listings. It's $99 to $349 depending on what you're doing. $99 means I take all the photos, I send them a brief description, and then we go back and forth, we correspond with what they're looking for, which is what I did. So I paid the $99 and I took a lot of photos of this car right here. I mean, like every detailed photo I could think of. I gave them the history of the vehicle, they accepted the vehicle, and they said, we want to sell it at no reserve. We expect to get between $8,000 and $10,000 based on what others have sold for. That's fair. I mean, I'm in the $4,000 price range for this car. I would accept that. Plus, it's the novelty of selling it on Bring a Trailer. They requested more photos. So I paid the $99 and I submitted more photos. I even did a walk-around video of the outside, a walk-around video of the inside, a walk-around video of it running, and then a walk-around video of the undercarriage while it was on our lift. So it was very detailed because I don't want anything coming back to us. I want to be as transparent as possible when I'm selling anything to anyone outside of like that can't come see it personally. So if you're buying something online, sight unseen, I want you to know exactly what you're getting when you get it. Transparency is key. Like callbacks are a headache later. It's better to be upfront and let everybody know what it is than have a surprise at the end and then come back on you later on. So after I took all the photos, all the videos, back and forth correspondence for 2 weeks, because it takes that long, their correspondence is really, really slow. I submitted the car, like applied for it to go on Bring a Trailer. It took them a week to respond. Then it took like a week and a half's worth of emailing back and forth with photos, with new photos that they're requesting, with videos they're requesting. So now I'm into it for 2.5 weeks before this car is even listed for sale. I then paid the $99, and then they gave me an email that said this. Now, this was nearly a month ago when I submitted my payment. And they sent me an email right after I sent the payment saying received that said, thanks for sending over those photos, let's do it. We will send an acceptance email. This is a very busy time at Bring a Trailer, and as a result, there'll be a waiting period before your auction can begin. It can take up to 3 weeks before you are assigned to a dedicated auction specialist who will work with you to create a high quality listing and will be on hand throughout the remainder of the process to help ensure you get the best auction results for your car. We understand that the news about the wait times might be frustrating, and we are working hard each week to give every listing the attention they deserve. Thank you in advance, Bring a Trailer Auctions. 2 weeks. It's been just about a month this week. I got an email last week, so 3 weeks later, that said, please be patient, we're extremely busy, we give everybody the same attention to detail, which is very respectable, I appreciate that. It could be 2 to 3 more weeks. So I've paid them $99 and now I'm waiting over a month. I just don't have the time for that. Like in my business, turnover. We need to move things quickly. Fall is here. When I started this process, there weren't leaves on the ground. I can't have this car in the winter. I'll end up sitting on it all winter. I need it to move. So we did have it listed like on YouTube videos, and somebody from California reached out and was like, dude, I want this car. I will drive it all the way back to California. I'm like, that sounds nuts to me. I wouldn't drive a car back from California. I wouldn't drive a car from New Hampshire to California. That sounds crazy. He's like, no, I don't care. I'll buy it. I love these cars. Alfa Romeo people, they're fanatics. I had said that earlier. I ended up selling it to another guy locally that came by and looked at it. He has a brand new Alfa Romeo, which was stunning, beautiful car, and he's an Alfa nut and wants this one. Apparently there's only like 5 in the country available, and when people found this car, they jumped all over it. So let's get into the numbers, because I did end up selling this car. All right, let's see how we did on this Alfa. Now it is October when I'm filming this, the end of October, and let's see when I bought it and how we did. I bought the Alfa Romeo for $4,140 back towards the end of August. So I've had this car for 2 months. It took us about a month to go through this car, and then we just cleaned it up and went through the entire car and listed it for sale. Now Bring a Trailer returned my $99 deposit or fee or whatever, which I really appreciate. So this isn't a video knocking Bring a Trailer. I want to use them, and I'm gonna try again in the future when I have more time. I just wish it was more efficient. I paid $4,140 for this Alfa Romeo. We don't have any out-of-pocket expenses, like I didn't have to pay anything for parts or anything to go through this car, so we don't have any expenses physically. We just have our time invested, which was pretty significant. So I ended up listing it locally for $10,000. I didn't realize I put it on Facebook for $9,000. So there was a guy in California that wanted this car for $10,000, and he was pumped on this car and kept telling me he wanted to leave a deposit. And if you see my deposit video, I said, no, I don't want a deposit. I'm not gonna hold it. If you're flying out here, like you buy your ticket, I'll take a deposit then and I'll hold it. He's like, no, if I leave a deposit, I want the car. That's, my deposit is good, my word is good. So I'm like, all right, well, no, I don't want to take a deposit, but if you want it, like, why don't you set up a post-sale inspection, like have somebody come out independently, look at the car so you know what you're getting, and that way there are no surprises when you get here. He's like, all right, can I leave the deposit? I'm like, nah, not really. All right, fine, whatever. So he goes, all right, I'm gonna call the other guy, because I was buying another car I left a deposit on. I'm gonna call him, tell him I don't want the car, and then I'm gonna give you the deposit. I'm like, dude, why? You're gonna do exactly the reason I don't take deposits. That's the whole reason I don't take deposits, and you said you don't do that, and then you told me you're gonna do that. So I kind of just brushed him off. Like, I didn't take it seriously. And meanwhile, another guy came and looked at it, loved it, bought it. So I called a guy from California. I'm like, hey buddy, I'm sorry it's sold. That guy obviously pissed off at me. So I ended up selling it for $9,000 because I thought I was selling it for 10. Then we got on the paperwork in the office, and the guy that was purchasing goes, hey, I saw it for sale on Facebook for $9,000. All right, you're right, I'll honor that. So I sold it for $9,000. So let's do the numbers real quick. All right, I sold it for $9,000. I paid $4,140, which is a grand total profit of, drum roll please, $4,860, which is a 100% profit on a car that was like kind of fun. It was kind of fun. And now we have an extra $4,000 to roll towards our Ferrari flip. Let's see where we're at right now, because there were 2 other cars that we've sold since then. Okay, I also had a 2011 Jeep Wrangler that we bought. Didn't need a ton of work. We just cleaned up some really funky wiring, and I actually undersold it. I sold it really cheap for what it was, but Jeep Wrangler prices are dropping, so I thought I was selling it right, but the amount of phone calls was insane. So anyway, I bought a 2011 Jeep Wrangler for $6,780, which I absolutely stole. Then I sold it for $11,500, which is a grand total profit of $4,720, which is wild. So now we are all cash. We have all cash towards a Ferrari flip. I'm gonna figure out what we have right now towards our Ferrari, because I forget what we had before the Alfa and the Jeep. So I'm gonna find that right now and then skip right back to you. All right, so let's see where we're at. Me at the auction today to see what we could come up with $67,000. $67,000 before the Alfa Romeo. All right, so to do these numbers, I think is gonna be wild in just a second. So I had $67,000. Then I bought the Alfa Romeo. So I'm not gonna deduct for the Alfa Romeo, I'm just gonna leave it at $67,000 and add the Alfa Romeo profit, which was $4,180. I also sold the Jeep Wrangler for $11,500. So at the time when I had $67,000, I also had a Jeep Wrangler. I sold it for $11,500. So $11,500 plus $4,180 plus $67,000 is a grand total of, I had to go verify because that didn't sound right. Ready? $83,360. That is real Ferrari money. I'm not talking like an old 80s Ferrari. This is real Ferrari money now we're at, which is insane. All right, now here's the dilemma, which I told you there were multiple dilemmas. When I started this process, we were like COVID money everywhere. Inflation, Ferrari prices were through the roof. They were insane. So that's why I haven't bought a Ferrari yet. I could have bought one at 60. I could have bought one at 70. I didn't want to. I just want to keep the money rolling because Ferrari prices are through the roof right now. And since my last Ferrari video, which was at Alfa, prices have come down significantly. I looked up one in Georgia that was 80, and I just consistently watch him lower the price. That was a 360 Modena, which is what I'm expecting to get in this price range. It is now at $74,000, which I'm like really hot on this car. Here's the other problem. I've mentioned the leaves, I've mentioned the fall foliage multiple times. I do not need a Ferrari going into the winter. There's zero reason for me to buy a Ferrari in October, November and store it till the spring, which is going to be a completely different market than it is now. I mean, things are on the decline. They're going to be like, who knows, rock bottom, because people are trying to sell off all their assets. They're trying to like liquidate, cash out. Everything's going for sale. And when nothing is selling, they're going to consistently lower the prices. So these Ferrari prices are going to regulate very soon, like within the next 6 months. It does not make sense for me to be buying one right now, store it all winter, have this series be over with, and then have it be worth less in the spring when I'm ready to drive it. So what am I gonna do, Craig? I am going to buy more cars. I'm gonna buy more stuff throughout the winter, have some fun with some all-wheel drive stuff, start spending some real cash on some real fun stuff that we can make more videos with, and then the spring is my deadline. We don't know where we're gonna be. Remember this right now. We don't know where we're gonna be 6 months from now. That's when I'm gonna buy the Ferrari. All this cash is better to be rolled over and over and over, and I should be in the 100,000 plus mark come the spring when prices have come down. So I should get more car for my money, and I'll have more money. So I could be getting like some seriously nice cars. And I've been talking a lot, but last week somebody was trying to sell their Lamborghini Gallardo at the auction. I could have bought that, and like, again, doesn't make sense. I don't want to be driving a Lamborghini four-wheel drive in the winter. I don't want to store it, so I stayed away from it, and it was just over my price range. So next time you see this Ferrari Flip Series, we're going to the auction with $83,000 to see what we could buy. Like, we haven't bought a Tesla yet. I would love a Model X. I don't know, what kind of stuff should I buy? You guys tell me. I read all your comments. What should I buy in this price range to have fun with, to be entertaining, to keep moving the process? Thank you for watching, always. Thank you very much to the Upside app for sponsoring this video. Link in the description for those guys. Definitely go check that out, and I'll see you all later. Thanks for watching. Adios.